Welcome to the program. Today we'll talk about what's happening in financial markets and the global economy. We'll take a look at two movers, up and down, Crown shares as well as Whitehaven, and we'll also discuss interest rates in the latest RBA minutes. I'm Marty Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard.
And we're mad about money. So Paul, markets have been, stuttering along at the moment. Your position on what's going on right now?
Yeah, we had 4 down days. Yesterday the market put on a small gain. Look, I think we're in a period of a little bit of uncertainty. We've got two big things overhanging the market. Obviously the Fed, and is the data going to support the rise in US interest rates? And secondly, the US election. Yeah,
what are your thoughts on that? The polls are sort of indicating that Hillary's in the lead, but the polls, are the polls a true gauge of what the people really want?
I don't know whether you really can put that much faith in the polls.
After Brexit?
After Brexit, but also the polls are very narrow. I mean, remember, it's 50 different states voting. There are only sort of 10 battleground states. And again, they have to survey what they call likely voters. Voting in the US is not compulsory. You've got to be registered. You can't make people come out. They're already started in some states to vote early. So they have this thing called likely voters. That doesn't mean they're going to vote, and that's the same problem they had in the UK. So you've got to be a little bit careful with the polls. They're also incredibly small surveys. So
China's also been, causing some concerns. We had a good month of data in China. GDP out this week. The last export number wasn't great.
Yes.
Your thoughts on China?
Big figures coming out today in China. And just going back to the US, of course, we've got the next debate on Thursday. I think that kicks off about 11 a.m. our time. So, look, I think with the sort of the overhang of the Fed, little nervousness around China. We'll see it in the data today. Also with obviously the US election. Who knows what's going to happen there? I mean, we all hope, I think, that Hillary will get up.
Mixed commentary from the Fed as well. There's always these members coming out who apparently get paid to be in the media, all these voting members of the Fed, which I had heard. So apparently you should discount everything they say. A smart guy in the markets once told me.
Right, well, he would know. I won't know who that smart guy is.
Moving on.
We should move on. But look, I think it's just hard to know what to do. So I think that's why we're sort of treading water a bit.
Let's talk Crown. Recently has been sold off. It's had a bit of a bounce back on issues that 18 staff members, including 3 Australians, been caught on criminal charges relating to corruption or solicitation of high rollers away from Chinese casinos. Your thoughts on the business impacts of this? Yeah,
the market overdone on Monday. We got a little bit of a bounce back on Tuesday. I think it's really hard still to make a proper call because it's not going to impact essentially too much that's going on in Melbourne or Perth. We know that Barangaroo, the development of Barangaroo, is largely about trying to attract the inbound Asian tourist, sort of the high rollers. And that's where these casinos allegedly make all their money. It's out of the high rollers. And look, we really don't know whether Crown has done something wrong and upset the Chinese authorities, and this is sort of payback, and they're going to make life hard for Crown going forward, or this is just one of these sort of regular probes and it'll all blow over. And
it does demonstrate the difficulty of doing business in China. When they crack down on something, they really crack down, don't they?
It does. I mean, the answer that sort of Crown's come out with relating to Barangaroo is, okay, if we can't get the inbound tourists from China, there's lots of others in Asia. We'll turn it more into more a destination as opposed to just gambling. But they do rely on that high roller dollar. We've seen it within Melbourne. I think Crown was a bit of a buy on Monday. At the moment, look, I like Crown longer term, but this thing, till it blows over, I just think you're sort of playing with fire a little bit.
Whitehaven coal, been in the press this week, had a good production number. Obviously, coking coal has had a big run up, about 86% over the last couple of months, up to $130.
Yeah, I mean, Whitehaven coal, you couldn't give it away at about 50 cents per year. Now testing $3, a huge run up. New Hope's done almost the same, not quite as good.
So Tinkler could be back. Coal price goes up. Nathan Tinkler seems to come back.
There could be a few people toasting it up in the central basin parts of Queensland, and also New South Wales, where not only were the mines all closed down, but the local economy there's been tough. Real estate values in many of those places slumped. So, look, they're actually starting to reopen mines. I think the only lesson you take out of all this, if you didn't get onto Whitehaven coal at the time, and probably at $3, I'm not sure I'd be rushing it now. I'd be sticking perhaps for one of the majors. But look, commodity cycles, they're really tough, and they go both ways. And just as surprising about this is, as hard as it's been down, how quickly it's come up again.
And a lot of the managers have missed it, haven't they?
Absolutely. The big miners have missed it. I mean, they're all talking about cutting costs still. So look, I'm not sure this is the end of this. This is the next nirvana, but let's see how it plays out. I think BHP and Rio at the right price should be on the buy list, and I think they're going to show some support.
Yeah, and very quickly, RBA minutes out. No real firm hints about interest rates
really
there?
no hints there. I thought they might have been a bit more direct. They weren't, so no hints. Look, we're really playing a game at the moment about the US and about US interest rates. We're seeing it in the market almost on a daily basis. We're seeing the so-called expensive defensives, you know, the property trusts, the utilities, the Transurbans, the Sydney airports, even Telstra. You know, they get sold off as sort of bond rates go up.
Yeah.
And then when bond rates sort of
bond proxies, aren't they?
Yeah, bond proxies. When bond rates in the US yields fall and, of course, prices go up, next day in the Australian market, they reverse and go back up. So, you know, we're seeing that almost day by day, and it really, those stocks are just following almost the US bond market. But it does show you how fund managers are positioning and changing their portfolios potentially for what they think could be essentially the bottom of this interest rate cycle. And I think, you know, for the average investor, you've got to be a bit mindful of this. You know, some of these things, particularly property trusts, got way overbought in August, trading a long way above their NTA. I still don't think there's a lot of value in property trusts. Transurbans and Sydney Airport's a bit different. I think they're actually growth companies with growth earning streams. Property trusts, they're growing at about 3% per annum. I think that, you know, down days when bond markets spike up in yield, there might be some value in those stocks, but I wouldn't be rushing into the property trusts just yet, even though they've come off a long way since early August.
It's good advice. Paul, thanks for your time. I'm Marty Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard.
And we're mad about money.